after all that faff. Cool. How's it going, guys? Hope you're well and all's good. Had to restart the stream, some technical difficulties, obviously, because we're late, and I have no clue what I'm doing with technology, so using the phone today instead of my normal setup. Speaking of which, I'm in a completely different setup, as you can tell. I'm in a totally different place, figuratively and literally. So yeah, please excuse any hums and noises and stuff from the guitar and from this building as well, the neighbours, etc. So what I would do is just answer any questions that anyone's got. Keep them coming in, and while we're just waiting for people to join, I'm just going to play for a little bit. You can see the cat having a pint of water there, literally drinking from a glass. There we go. And then we got cut off. Technology, eh? Right, guys. So yeah, I'll just play for a bit. Wait to see who shows up. being a bit clumsy with the old bending there. Right. And then my knob fell off. Ooh, I'll find that in a bit. Anyway, I hope everything is going well with your practice. Any questions, send them my way. And yeah, let me know how I can help. So, lots of common things that come up, and I thought I'd make a few notes about I guess some of the challenges that guys face, and some of the, I don't want to say excuses, but some of the reasons. It's a more polite way of putting it, I guess. Reasons that people say, why they're stuck, why they're struggling, to even get back into playing and practicing again. So let's dispel a few of the myths. It's certainly not a talent thing. And I've said this before, probably online, on live streams, and I know that I've said this so many times in person to people when they say, oh, it's all right for you, you're really talented, or it's all right for so and so, they're really talented, they're just naturally talented, and it kind of pisses me off. Because I work really hard at what I do. I practice every single day, and I still struggle, and I still have a lot of the same struggles that everyone else has. So I'm definitely not naturally talented. I'm not gifted in any way, shape, or form musically. I've got a pretty good ear, I think, but again, I trained that to be able to do what I do. When it comes to like learning songs by ear, or just hearing changes in the songs, chords, notes, melodies. I'm pretty quick to pick things like that up, but I wasn't originally. I just had to get really good at it just by repetition, just by doing it a lot. So that is one of the myths I wanted to bust around that. Really, it's like it's a question or a statement that guys say a lot, is that I'm just not talented, or I'm just not talented enough, and like I call bullshit on that. Really, like there are obviously extremely talented people out there in many fields. You could put it all down to talent, but they also worked really bloody hard to get where they are. And so yeah, I definitely struggle the same as everyone else, I think. So the problem is generally with like getting back into playing guitar and practicing guitar, is that it's very different to what it was perhaps when we first started. So if you're in your 30s, let's say, or mid 30s, or 40s, mid 40s, whatever, like it was a different time. The internet was obviously there, but there wasn't as much information. And I think that nowadays there's like more information gets uploaded every day than it did for an entire year back in like the early noughties, like 2003. The amount of information that was uploaded to the internet in 2003, like that gets uploaded in one day now. Don't quote me on that, but that's that's not a made up statistic. It's butchered a little bit, but it's not completely false. So how with all this information overload and overwhelm, it's certainly not it's not that we don't know what to practice. It's out there, isn't it? Like we have everything in the world we could possibly practice, but that is the problem. It's so distracting. So it's a structure problem. Like people don't have like for want of a better term, like a curriculum. Or I say for want of a better term, I do mean that. I mean like I do mean having a structured, like, you know, learn this, practice this, and then go on to do this thing. And again, there's many students that I teach that have a scattergun approach or had a scattergun approach, um, and I'm exactly the same. Like until I started having lessons again, after a long time off of having lessons, um, the thing that I was doing, I was just drifting. You know, I didn't have any routine. I didn't have any structure to my practicing at all. It was just like, I'll just practice whatever I feel like practicing. Um, and, you know, that's a question that I ask lots of guys when they start lessons with me. I say, like, you know, so talk me through a practice session, or talk me through, like, you know, a week's worth of practice for you. What does that look like? What does a month's worth of practice look like for you? And they can't answer because there is no structure. They haven't got these clearly defined kind of goals that they're working towards, and they certainly haven't got any routine in place, or they have and they just practice the same stuff over and over again, which again isn't necessarily a bad thing as long as you're practicing the right stuff. So it's a structure problem. It's this clearly defined, you know, practice this, then this, then this, then this to get this. Like with a lot of guitar players, a lot of musicians, but a lot of guitar players, like amateur guitar players, they practice very emotionally. They just practice whatever they feel like practicing. So again, when I ask people that question and say, like, you know, what do you practice? And there's, it's kind of whatever I feel like doing. And I'm like, well, how's that working out for you then? Because you're here having lessons with me. It's clearly not working. So it feels nice sometimes to have that, like, oh, I'll just practice whatever I feel like, man, you know. But you know, you're not you personally, I hope, but what a lot of guys do is they avoid all the stuff they know they should be practicing because it's exposing their weaknesses. It's exposing that yeah, those weak areas. And you know, like a lot of people, when you play to your strengths, that's comfortable. So we want to get outside the comfort zone. That's where growth happens, outside the comfort zone. That sounds cheesy. I'm sure it's been written on a t-shirt, but it is very true. Like, you know, you have to push yourself. So instead of like training, what people do is they noodle and they call it practice, or they do a bit of a song and then they think that that's practice, or they, you know, they just play stuff they can already play, which again is not practicing. You have to make that distinction very clear. What, you know, when are you practicing and when are you playing? If you're practicing, you're doing something you can't do. You're learning the thing and then you're practicing it, and then you're able to play it. So when guys kind of bullshit themselves and sit down and go, oh, I practiced guitar for like an hour today, it's like, did you? Or did you play guitar for like 55 minutes? And then you know, the other 5 minutes you struggled with something and then fucking gave up on it. That's more likely to be the case, I would say. Sorry, that's my cat deciding to hopefully not do a really smelly poo in the litter tray that is located right next to me. Thanks for that, cat. Right, anyway, any questions coming in? All quiet at the moment from what I can see. So yeah, I think the other thing as well, especially when you're getting back into playing, is that feeling of like not wanting to admit that you're behind, or that you know, you kind of think you're better than you are, or you know, you want to believe that you're better than you are because of the amount of time, you know, you've put into practicing and stuff. And it's hard to be vulnerable and kind of say, actually, you know, I'm not as good as that at that as I thought. And that's certainly the thing with me. When I started having lessons again, I was like, there's some real kind of like basic stuff that I've seem to have just glossed over because I thought it wasn't relevant to my playing, or it wasn't relevant to what I needed to learn, and it totally was. Um, so yeah, I do get it. I completely get it. You know, as a returning guitar player, as a returning guitar student, I had to go through all that kind of stuff myself, and I do see this in a lot of guys where it's that feeling of should. I should be better than I am. I should be further along by now. Um, and the, you know, I used to be better. I used to be better than this, and it's like, yeah, of course you were, because you know you were younger and you had all the time in the world to practice, and then you know, life happened. You know, you got responsibilities, you got children, you got like a job, you got a mortgage, you got like, you know, shit that needs doing, and that's totally fine. Like that happens, life happens, but um, you know, you do have time, you do. You know, a lot of people say that they just don't have time. What they mean is they don't have an hour, or they don't have 2 hours to practice, as though they don't have as much time as they would like to practice. But you do have time. Everyone has time. Um, Even if it's 10, 20 minutes, just work on the stuff that you need to be working on. This, you know, the fundamentals of the instrument, and learning songs as well. That's huge. Making sure that you have a healthy repertoire of songs on the go at all times. And this isn't just songs you can already play, because again, that's falling back into that comfort zone. You definitely want to be learning stuff that is easy to play, or easier to play, more straightforward. You want to have stuff that's a bit more challenging. So it might be like a bit of a longer term goal to learn that particular song, you know, a song that you've always wanted to do. And then you have the oh, this is going to take a year to learn that, or something. You know, I'm really going to need to build my skills and my technique and my musicality up to that level to be able to play, you know, whoever it is for you, slash John Petrucci, like I don't know, whoever your favourite guitar player is, you know, and there'll be a song or songs, won't there, or a solo that you are desperate to nail, but it just seems so incredibly out of reach right now. And again, people think, oh, I've missed my opportunity, I've missed my window now because I don't have 14 hours a day to practice. That again isn't true. You have, it's practicing smarter, not harder, and practicing consistently. Like that's the thing, isn't it? You know, to use another cheesy saying, consistency is key, but it's absolutely slow. It's so true. So yeah, let's see if we've got any more questions coming in, or any questions coming in. Doesn't look like it at the moment. Yeah. So, what sort of things should you be practicing, and how you should be practicing? Well, if you take a look at, you know, the songs, for example, that you want to learn, you've made that list of songs that you know you want to learn, and some of them are easy, some of them are hard, and some of them are like super hard. Um, that's what you should be working on. That's going to inform your technique. That's going to inform that you need to work on. That's going to inform the music theory knowledge that you need. It's going to inform, like, you know, the knowledge of your instrument, the fretboard. So work on the songs primarily, is what I'm saying. Make that like the main chunk of your practice. All the other stuff, so you know, your picking, your chords, like all your technical stuff, that's like, you got to put the reps in with that, sure, but it's like going to the gym. Like you that technique stuff is there to support the main goal, which is to play music. So you should work on music more, and the actual playing of songs, the actual playing of like improvising, whatever it is you want to do. Spend more of the practice time doing that. The reps and all that kind of stuff, and the technique side of it, you will get to that, and you just be consistent with it. Just practice. Like if you're working on a new technique, like a brand new technique, don't dedicate the whole practice session to it. Like just spend literally like 3 minutes, set a timer, and just work on that technique completely solidly for 3 minutes. I think obviously there's lots of focus, let's say, on technique, isn't there, at the moment? Like certainly with a lot of guitar courses and stuff that I see out there, and like they're just missing the point. They're selling it to you literally that you have to have all this technique down, and you really don't. Not in order to play a lot of the stuff that you guys want to play, which is classic rock stuff, normal kind of like alternative stuff, metal even, like as long as it's not super technical. Don't obsess over technique, don't obsess over it, focus on just learning songs. It's far better to be able to play songs, in my opinion anyway. But yeah, fundamentals I would say is the techniques that you use all the time. So what's it going to be? If you're a metal guy, you might be doing lots of down picking, so making sure that you can do that. If you're any other type of guitar player, and if you're a metal player, to be honest, then you need to work on your alternate picking. You need to work on your bending, your phrasing, all this kind of stuff. Like those are your fundamentals, and your actual fretboard knowledge as well. Those are the things that I would kind of recommend for you to work on. Feels like I'm rambling a little bit because obviously I'm not getting any questions or anything coming in, so I'm just kind of like trying to stay within the guardrails of this stream today. So yeah, it's more of a reintroducing myself, saying hi, saying about how my own practice is going as well. But I think I'll leave that for another time. Perhaps talk about that in another stream, and kind of give you an over the shoulder look of how I practice stuff myself, and how I would fix certain things in my own technique, like if there's a new thing that I'm learning. But yeah, if you've got any questions or whatever about the stuff that you're working on, you can obviously, like I said, pop it in the comments. Or if you're not that brave, reach out to me anytime. You can reach me on jimmykaneguitar@gmail.com, or you can go to the website, which is just jimmykaneguitar.com. Just get in touch and let me know if there's anything at all that I can help you with. Let me know what things you're struggling with right now, what you'd love to be able to play as well. Let's not make it all about negative stuff, like, oh, I suck. Make it about like, what would you love to do? What would be amazing for you to do? What if you can imagine that you could play anything in the world? What would it be? And let me know, because that's always a really good place to come from when you're starting lessons, or like starting out on a guitar journey. You're just returning back to what you love, which is this lovely instrument. So always have that in mind, like what's the goal, what would you absolutely love to do. So yeah, on that note, I shall bid you good evening. I have got some stuff to do, got some errands to run, I've got a wife to pick up from the train station as well. So yes, let me know how you're getting on, and obviously let me know any struggles, but more importantly, let me know what you'd love to do. Let me know what you'd love to be able to do on guitar, and of course let me know any suggestions for lessons or content that I can do in the future. All right, have a good evening or good day or good morning or wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. See ya.